Welcome to the 1/9 Karazhan card review, one day before the expansion comes out. We're going to start off with Druid. These are my final thoughts. I've had a little while to think about the cards. They've been out for a few days now, so let's review the cards. Druid, Moonglade Portal, 6 mana, restore 6 health, summon a random 6 cost minion. It's a pretty okay card. I don't think it's going to see a lot of constructed play, and the reason that is because the power of Druid comes from the ramp. So Wild Growth and Innovate are the best cards in Druid. They ramp very high, but the price they pay for doing so is that they take a lot of damage in the early game against tempo and mid-range decks. So when they take all this damage in the early game, you might think, hey, well, restoring health is good then, right? Not really, because in order to get back into the game, they need to be playing cards that impact the board straight away with strong battle cries or with taunt. And so that's why you see a lot of druids running things like Druid of the Claw, Dark Arakoa, and Ancient of War. Like, these are very high impact, difficult to remove taunts. They bring the druid back onto the board, back into the game, gives them some tempo. They're hard to trade into, and the Moonglade Portal simply doesn't do that. Restoring 6 health is not a big enough heal to be worth playing. The random 6 cost minion, the way you assess the random cost minion is you assume that the stat distribution will be like that one of a vanilla minion that is 1 cost lower. So a random 6 cost minion is about as good as a 5/5 or a 4/6 5-drop. That's the expected result most of the time. That kind of ballpark. Obviously there are some worse ones and there are some crazy ones, but that is generally the ballpark you're looking at. 5/5, 4/6, and so a random 4/6 is, or a random 5/5 is just not consistent enough. It's not impactful enough on the board for your opponent to care about, and I don't think this card will see much play in constructed. Even if it does see play, I think you'd only run 1 copy. You definitely wouldn't run 2, and I think the Beast Druid is going to be the dominant Druid archetype because of the next 2 cards I'm going to talk about. Which brings me on to Menagerie Warden. So Menagerie Warden is probably the #1 best card in 1/9 Karazhan, in my opinion. It is absolutely going to break Beast Druid. It's going to make Beast Druid probably tier 1. If not the top of tier 1, it's going to be in tier 1, or at the very least the top of tier 2. I'd be surprised if it was anything lower than that. So what is Menagerie Warden? It's a 6 mana 5/5, choose a friendly beast and summon a copy of it. This effect is insanely powerful. The stat distribution is okay. It's comparable with Emperor Thaurissan, which is and the Shield Maiden that used to see a lot of play pre-standard. So it's a very solid stat distribution. It's 5/5 is a big enough threat for your opponent to care about, for them wanting to remove it. But it's the battle cry that makes it so powerful. So why is the battle cry so powerful? The reason it's so powerful is because of its synergy with the card Stranglethorn Tiger. So Stranglethorn Tiger, you play it on turn 5, it has stealth. A stealth minion is incredibly hard to remove, and then on curve, the next turn, 6 mana, you play Menagerie Warden, you get 10/10 worth of stats for 6 mana, and you can attack with the Stranglethorn Tiger on that turn. So you lose 0 tempo, you get an insane, it's an insane tempo play. It's like, basically, it's like Mysterious Challenger before. You just get so much value out of 1 card, and it's going to be you're going to hit this very consistently. The Stranglethorn Tiger is so hard to remove; it nearly always survives the turn. So it's an extremely powerful card, and I think it's going to make Beast Druid into a top tier deck, no problem. But even if you don't hit Stranglethorn Tiger, you can really be hitting any beast at all. Even if you hit the this one on the side here, Enchanted Raven. Enchanted Raven is a 1 mana 2/2, which means if you hit this, you're getting 7/7 worth of stats for 6 mana, which is okay. It's not great, but it's okay. If you're hitting a 2 mana card, you're getting 8/5 worth of stats. 3 mana card, you're getting more, and basically any beast, if you get any value out of this battle cry whatsoever, you're getting decent value. But if you hit Stranglethorn Tiger, I think you just win the game on the spot. It's unfortunately not very fun or interactive. I don't know how enjoyable it's going to be to play against, but it's definitely going to be a lot of people playing this deck because this card is just so crazy. And so, as mentioned, we have now the Enchanted Raven. It's the 1 mana 2/2 beast in the common slot. People think this card is crazy. I don't think this card is crazy. It's 1 mana 2/2. There's no text. It doesn't scale like some of the other one drops like Mana Worm and Tunnel Trog. Those ones are completely broken because the stats can just continually increase to crazy amounts. But this is just a 1 mana 2/2. It's a solid one drop. Druids currently don't have any good one drops. And the important thing to know with this card is that it's a 1 mana 2/2, which you can play then Mark of Yasharaj on curve. So you buff this card +2/+2 and draw a card. And the +2/+2 is really, really relevant. So you think, which deck at the moment has the strongest early game? And that's obviously it's Aggro Shaman, right? So you have Tunnel Trog on turn 1, then you have Totem Golem on turn 2. If you go first, you play Enchanted Raven. They then play their Tunnel Trog. You buff it with Mark of Yasharaj. Your 4/4 Enchanted Raven trades into the 1/3 Tunnel Trog. They then have to follow up with Totem Golem. Your 4/4 is still free to trade into the Totem Golem, and you can develop a 2-drop on the same turn, which means you have then won the first 2 turns of the game, which putting you in a very strong position. And very few decks can say that they could do that against Aggro Shaman. So it's a very good card for Druid. I think it's going to really help them in the early game consistency. It's going to make Beast Druid very powerful, whether you run like full Beast Druid or kind of Beast, maybe like a Beast Dragon hybrid Druid, because of some of the other cards we'll talk about later. But very solid 1 mana card, good stuff. Okay, next we have Hunter, and